The river that cut through the small town of Millhaven always carried whispers with its current. Locals said it remembered every secret ever thrown into it. Love letters, wedding rings, bottles of whiskey, and sometimes bodies. On a foggy October morning, 12-year-old Emma was walking her dog by the riverbank when she noticed something tangled among the reeds. At first, she thought it was just a mannequin. The pale skin, the stillness. It looked unreal. But as she stepped closer, her stomach turned cold. It was a girl. The police were called within minutes. Soon, yellow tape sealed the riverbank, and detectives leaned over the water with grim faces. Sheriff Daniels, a man with 25 years on the force, whispered to his deputy, "She's not from around here." And he was right. No one in Millhaven recognized her. No missing persons matched. She was a stranger, dropped in their river like a forgotten secret. For days, the town buzzed with speculation. Some claimed she was a runaway. Others whispered about traffickers passing through. But Emma couldn't shake the feeling that the girl had been watching her even in death. Every night, Emma dreamed of pale eyes opening beneath the water surface. Meanwhile, Detective Claire Harlow was assigned the case. Claire had a reputation. She never left stones unturned. When the autopsy came back, the report made her blood run cold. The girl hadn't drowned. She'd been strangled. And worse, carved into her wrist was a symbol, a small, jagged cross. Claire had seen it before. 10 years earlier, another girl had been found near a different river 2 towns away. Same symbol, same age, same cause of death. The media swarmed Millhaven now, dubbing the killer the River Reaper. Panic spread like wildfire. Parents kept their daughters inside. Shops closed early. Every ripple of the river felt like a threat. But the story twisted darker. Late one night, Emma woke to the sound of dripping water. She followed the trail across her room to the window. On the glass, written with a wet finger, were the words. She was not alone. Terrified, she screamed for her parents. By the time they rushed in, the writing had already begun to fade. The police dismissed it as Emma's imagination, trauma from what she'd seen. But Claire believed her. Digging deeper, Claire uncovered something chilling. The symbol carved into the girl's skin wasn't random. It belonged to a group that once operated in secret, an old cult that believed drowning was a ritual cleansing. They had been chased underground decades ago. Nobody believed they still existed. One night, Claire stood by the river alone, flashlight cutting across the water. That's when she heard it, soft singing, like a lullaby, carried on the current. She followed the sound, her boots sinking into mud, until she saw them. 3 figures in hooded robes, standing in the shallows, chanting. Her breath caught. She reached for her gun. But when her flashlight beam hit the water, the figures were gone, vanished as if they were never there. The next morning, another girl's body surfaced downstream. Same age, same symbol, same story. Millhaven was no longer a town of whispers. It was drowning in screams. Claire's investigation led her to an abandoned church at the edge of town. Inside, symbols marked the walls, candles melted into the floor, and in the center stood a chair, ropes tied to its arms. Someone had been held there, and tucked beneath the chair was a single photograph. A girl, alive, eyes wide with fear. She wasn't the victim from the river. She was someone else, someone still missing. Emma recognized her instantly. She goes to my school. The realization hit like a thunderclap. The River Reaper wasn't finished. In a desperate race against time, Claire followed the trail to the river's bend, where a half-collapsed boathouse stood. Inside, the smell of damp wood and rust filled her lungs. And there, tied to a chair, was the girl from the photograph, alive but barely breathing. Behind her, a man's voice whispered, "You were never meant to find her." Claire spun around, gun raised, and came face to face with the killer. Not a drifter, not a cult leader, but Sheriff Daniels himself, the man who had sworn to protect the town. He smiled. "They never suspected me. Why would they? The river hides everything." But this time it didn't. The struggle was violent, chaotic. The boathouse shook with every blow. At last, Claire fired a single shot. Daniels collapsed, the river at his back, his body slipping into the current like all the others he had taken. Silence fell. The girl was saved. Emma was safe. And the town of Millhaven finally knew the truth. The monster had been one of their own. But as Claire stood by the river, its surface calm once more, she couldn't shake the feeling that the water itself was smiling, as if the river was pleased to have another secret to keep. And maybe, just maybe, it was still hungry